Well, we made it again. Welcome back to your favorite comedy finance channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Now, guys, look, I know everybody is like catching cabin fever, and everybody wants to know what's the next thing that's going to happen. Well, everything is going to be on a side trend or on a decline until we get to June 12th. So, if you guys watched my last video, I go into depth about why we're going to experience the turbulence that we're experiencing now. And when I went over what I went over last video, I was kind of preparing you guys what to expect as we get a little bit closer. I do want to let you guys know that now is really the time to buy. Now keep in mind it is a bet. Okay, it is a bet, and of course we can go to zero by tonight. Seriously, we go to zero right now. Within the next 5 minutes, you could buy right now and we go to zero right after, and it'll be your fault. Okay. So, don't ever forget that. But I am very optimistic for the markets. So I have added more tokens to my portfolio. So I'm very confident in where we're at right now. And I do think a lot of people are misinformed about the position that you're in to be in the market at this time. And the reason why is the dollar. You take a look at the dollar, we're sitting at about 104.63 right now. And that is the highest buying power that we're going to get at this time. And that's not guaranteed. A lot of people got to remember that, the buying power that we have right now is not guaranteed. And, as we go further into the future, especially June 12th, we're going to run into these moments where we're going to watch the Fed do what the Fed does, and we're going to get a cut, we're going to get a hike. I personally feel like we're going to get a hike for a variety of different reasons. I went over those reasons in depth last video, so I'm not going to go too far in depth this time. Okay, this video is going to be short. I just wanted to talk about a variety of different tokens that we're collecting, just to remind you, like, just because I'm not making videos every day, or just because I'm not talking about things every day, or whatever the case, doesn't mean that I'm not at work. Okay, I work 24/7, 369. I'm always on OddApp, MYC OddApp. It's available on Apple and Google stores. I know all of you guys might have friends and family. You might have an expert neighbor that thinks they know everything. Well, guess what? I don't see an app. I don't see any software that they built, and I don't see them part of this sector. MYC is part of this sector. Okay. So I'm sitting here telling you, if you're not seeing me, it's because you're not on OddApp. So keep in mind, if you want to get on there, it's on Apple and Google stores. I make updates. We have conferences every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm still looking at the same picks. I did release a new pick recently on OddApp. And for those of you that are watching, you're barely hearing about it now. Well, you're about 3 weeks late. Okay. But, it hasn't moved a lot either. It's just a lot of the things I'm buying. It's because I buy something early and then I stack it for a long time. And then, I hold it long term. Okay. So that pick is MDT. So I really like MDT. I would take a look at it. It's MDT. It's on Coinbase. Okay. But besides that, main plays, and keep in mind, look, MDT, it's a 1 billion coin cap. It's a data token. I think data is going to be the new gold. So I think it's going to be a very good play. It's like 6 or 7 cents, not too bad. But it's a set and forget at best. It's kind of like NCT. Okay. I'll repeat that, NCT. It's kind of similar to that. But my main plays, which are most of the smaller caps, are going to be Arc Block, Dragon Chain, LCX, ALF, ALEPH, and then Math Token. I'm still stacking a lot of those tokens. And again, right now we're on a side trend. And because we're on a side trend or a decline or whatever, even if we get a fracture after this meeting on the 12th, I'm still going to be buying tokens, because at the end of the day, and I don't care what the news says, both presidents are pro-crypto. I know they're going to try to flip-flop that around narrative-wise, but at the end of the day, governments are going to do what governments have always done when they're in massive amounts of debt and they need to pay off massive amounts of the debt deficit. They're going to inflate debt away by printing money or diluting the currency one way or the other. The U.S. government could do that in 2 different forms. The government could either print, which I don't think they're going to print this time. They don't need to. There's plenty of money out there, except people are holding dollars. They're holding the money. And in order for the U.S. government to create dilution in the U.S. currency supply, okay, because keep in mind, there's a reason why the dollars are at 104.6. The reason why it's at 104.6 is because people are holding dollars. Yeah, they're dumping dollars, but there's not enough people dumping dollars to make it drain out to a lower valuation. And the only way that's going to happen is if the U.S. government hikes rates and it makes it expensive to hold dollars. So if they could damage other countries' currencies enough, then you're going to see countries dump massive amounts of U.S. bonds or U.S. debt, whatever you want to call it. Your treasuries, debt, bonds, it's the same shit to me. It's all a matter of debt, fiat. It's notes, debt notes, your currency, your dollar, debt notes. Okay. The only way to make other countries that are buying U.S. debt dump dollars is by creating market share disruption by an overvaluation in the dollar. And if you have an overvaluation in the dollar, these countries need to defend their peg. And the only way they're going to be able to defend their peg is by dumping those bonds. So until we have a bond market crisis, which we currently are in, I mean, look at the yields. Yields at 4 or 5% is not good news. If bonds are at 4 or 5%, that's a liquidity crisis. Okay, that's what's happening, liquidity crisis. When you got higher yields, that means that the government is trying to entice investors to borrow money, all right, to buy U.S. debt in order to get that yield. But what happens when the dollar is at 104.6 and the yield is at 4 or 5%? Those people that have bought, the dollar was at 70, 80 cents just 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, right? A lot of those countries were buying up a lot of that U.S. bond, like a lot of that U.S. debt. And because now they have all that U.S. debt, it's easier to dump for the principal versus wait for the yield. And that's why the bonds are not attracting investors. And that's why we have a higher yield, because the only reason why governments offer a higher yield is because there's no liquidity. When there's no liquidity, they need to have a higher yield to get investors to buy, but there's no reason to buy right now. So because we're seeing deflation in the dollar in the FX market, the only way is to make rates so fucking high that people are forced to defend their currency pegs, whatever country it may be, and they're going to dump the dollar. So this is going to be a Caesar moment, okay? It's going to be a Caesar moment. Think about Rome. This is going to be a Caesar moment where all the U.S. allies say, you know what, fuck this guy. We're going to take him down together, and they're all going to dump at the same time, because they can get the best principal at a 104.6 versus waiting for a 4 or 5% yield when they know that the CPI report is going to be high as fuck come June 12th. And that's just, over time, inflation is going to continue to rise. And for that reason, it's easier to dump at an overvaluated dollar versus wait for the yield. There's no point. So because we're anticipating higher inflation and because we're anticipating the crash in the dollar, they're going to be dumping dollars, holding assets as much as they can so they could leverage overvaluated asset prices, inflated asset prices to pay off massive amounts of the debt deficit, just like every government has done around the world for decades, for hundreds of years, centuries. This is what they do to us. For centuries, this is what they do to citizens around the world. It's not just America, it's every country. It's about government tyranny. It's about government slavery over citizens on the ground level. And until we arm citizens around the world with data, with knowledge, we cannot have real patriots, real presidents, real representatives of the people to bring up a new third party. We cannot get to the next level without educating people from the ground level up and endowing them with wealth to take over and have a new representative that is for the real people. Okay? That's what we need. And until we arm people with data and knowledge, it's the only way we're going to get there. For a lot of you, the history buffs, you're going to remember people like Thomas Jefferson continuously promoting education for the American people. Okay? That went down the drain a long time ago. In fact, the educational system we have now is basically made to make sure that you're dumb forever, that you're always going to be a consumer, enslaved in debt, and enslaved forever. So you could work until you're fucking 80. Okay? That's the way it is. But for us investors, if you're smart enough, you're going to leverage the inflation the government creates to pay off massive amounts of your own fucking debt and create massive amounts of wealth for you and your family. That's what you're here for. So guys, look, would love to see you on ODAP every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. Okay, Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday. I have a voice conference on ODAP. Okay, I hope to see you there. This is going to be a real quick broadcast. All right, I'm still in the same place, still in the same everything. Okay. I'm very optimistic for where we're going in the future. And I do feel like regardless of what president comes into play, the government has no choice but to inflate debt away to pay off massive amounts of the debt deficit by inflating asset prices via inflation, which means the economy is going to crash, which means we're inside of a recession right now. Okay? That means your neighbors are going to be poor while you become rich. Okay, that is why you need to educate yourself now so you're ready for government manipulation, so you can prepare yourself, prepare your friends and family, for those of them that respect you enough to listen to what you got to say. Okay, so this is my warning to you. Be careful who you talk to. Be careful about what you're doing out there, okay? Because right now is not a time to play. Right now is a time to prepare yourself and prepare your family, because we're about to go into a deep recession, possibly a depression, okay? So, prepare yourselves, diversify your assets, diversify yourselves, and do not trust these fucking bankers, okay? These reptilian, fork-tongued bankers, okay? Fucking telling you, don't do it. And don't be listening to these fucking backpack kids, okay? These fucking crypto kids, these basement kids, fucking telling you, okay? Don't ever, especially around your kids, do not ever. So, guys, look. I love you. I miss you. I wanted to give you guys just a quick broadcast. Again, ALF, LCX, Math Token, ARC Block, NCT, MDT. Those are nice. Let me know if I'm missing any. What else am I missing? I'm always missing one. There's always going to be like some guy, but I forgot this. Okay, yeah, whatever. They're all very good picks if they're on a tier 1 exchange. And again, this is a long game. You buy assets, you hold them long, you stack, and you're going to do well in the future, okay? This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not a get rich quick strategy. This is something that you need to do over a course of time, okay? When you're investing, it doesn't matter who you do it with. You could do it with MYC. You could do it with anybody. It doesn't matter. It's the long game that's going to make you win. There's a lot of fucking yo-yos out there. They're going to sit there and say, well, you got a short-term trade and you got to do this, you got to do that. No. You buy shit and you hold it a long time. That's it. Okay? And be patient. We got a lot to go through. Again, like I said, June 12th, we're going to be going through, since the last video, if you guys want a real in-depth conversation, check out my last video. I'm telling you. Watch the last video that I posted, and I go in depth about what's happening. Okay? So, yeah, that's it for today, guys. I do want to congratulate a lot of you guys. We've already minted well over 10 jewelry pieces. I've been making custom jewelry for MYC, Empire Eagles. We've been doing like the rings, stuff like that. I've been doing the chains, stuff like that. So congratulations to a lot of you guys. We've been talking about doing this forever. It's awesome to finally get something that's a representation of our commitment to you guys and a commitment to our community. We did this from the ground level up, for real. I'm very proud of all of you. I've seen a lot of your aspirations become a reality, and I'm honored to be with you. And we're about to get into these moments where only the faithful are going to win. Only the loyal people are going to win. Not everybody is going to make it. There's a lot of people that are going to go to zero. There's a lot of people that are going to know exactly what to do, and they're not going to do it, and they're still going to go to zero. So again, guys, for a lot of you guys that are going to make it with me, I'm very happy for you. I'm happy for you and your family. I'm happy to see what you're doing for yourself. Again, every cycle, we're going to run through people that are going to think they're too smart. They're not going to do the right thing. Okay. So stay focused out there, stick with us, or stick with whoever you trust. I don't care if it's with me or anybody else. Just make sure you stay committed. Okay. Stay dedicated, and you're going to do well. So I will catch you guys on the next one.